Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about recovery. All right. When we're thinking about recovery, a lot of times we're thinking about when we're going to get back into the gym, when we're going to be able to train optimally, the impact the workout has on our muscles, right? So, are we recovering at a rate that's going to allow us to gain muscle mass and do the adaptations that we want to do after training? Are we allowing our bodies to get to that point where it can recover, adapt, and get what we wanted out of the workout in the first place? Um, and there's some things I see people do that shoot themselves in the foot. So I want to go through those today. I'm going to talk to you about things that are definitely going to inhibit your recovery. The first one is this, and I'm going to mention this not because I think a lot of you are doing it, but particularly in the powerlifting community, I've seen a lot of athletes do this, and that is taking pain relievers directly after a workout. Now, the powerlifters at Metroflex, they're hardcore, awesome athletes. They train extremely hard. A lot of them would pop pain relievers right directly after a workout. Now, I'm talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory pain relievers, things like Advil, and you want to avoid those as much as possible in general. But especially after a workout, they're going to shut down every bit of inflammation you have. Now, we think of inflammation as a bad thing, right? I'm always talking about how total body chronic inflammation can lead to disease, can lead to achy joints, can lead to a whole bunch of things. But we have inflammation in our bodies for a reason. And so when you're training, you're ripping down muscles, you're causing micro tears, you're stressing the muscle out. You're also creating inflammation, and inflammation is what triggers the recovery process in the first place, right? So we need inflammation. Some inflammation is good for us. It helps us heal from injuries. It helps us recover from stress. It helps us recover from workouts and things like that, and actually starts the adaptation process to what we want to get to. So avoid pain relievers right after workout because they will shut down that triggering mechanism. The other thing you really want to avoid there, or try to push off toward later in the day, is taking fat soluble vitamins and your omega-3s right directly after a workout or too close to a workout. I try to take mine toward the late afternoon, early evening, because I train earlier in the day. But again, that inflammation is very valuable at that point in time, so you don't want to do anything that's going to shut it down. The next thing I see people do, and this is another thing, is they load themselves up with all these stimulants, like the pre-workouts and all the sugar and things like that, and then during the workout they're dehydrating themselves. And so one of the things you need to understand is that if you are dehydrated, your body's processes are not going to work as they should, right? Every chemical reaction occurs in a medium of water, right? In the human body, it's blood, water, fluid. And so if you're low on the tank, those reactions are going to take a lot longer, and they're going to occur much less efficiently than if you had adequate water in your system. So make sure that you're hydrating. I probably can't say anything in the world to keep you guys from taking your friggin' crazy jacked whatever powders that you're taking, but if you are taking them, at least make sure you're getting adequate hydration. I don't recommend a lot of these pre-workouts. I don't think that they're helping you. I don't think that they're helping your mind, and I don't think that they're helping your body. But if you are taking them, I'm not going to be hypocritical about it, I'm not going to be super critical about it. Make sure you're hydrating at least. I like coffee. Coffee is awesome. But even if you are drinking coffee, make sure that you're hydrating adequately. The next thing I see people do, and this is huge, is these kinds of refeeds that occur on super high stress crazy days, right? So, and it's not the fact that they're refeeding, like, especially people who are carb cycling. When I'm talking about this, is some people do low carb days, and then like on a really really stressful hard training day, they'll do this huge refeed where they'll eat things like Pop-Tarts, eat things, tons of sugar, things like that. Now, what you have to remember here is that it's not the refeed that's bad in and of itself, but if you're taking a bunch of inflammatory food that has high levels of omega-6. Now, remember, there's two main fatty acids, omega-3s and omega-6s, and omega-6s raise levels of inflammation. Omega-3s help reduce levels of inflammation. So if you're taking tons of omega-6 in the days following that really hard workout, that can actually raise inflammatory levels and slow down the recovery process. So if you're eating a lot of pastry, a lot of like Pop-Tarts, a lot of like just wheat in general, a lot of things that have vegetable oil in it. A lot of the manufactured foods we have tons of vegetable oil and tons of omega-6 in them. Now, like I said, inflammation is good, but too much inflammation can actually really inhibit the recovery process, can also cause disease, can also cause achy joints and things like that. So you want to be watching yourselves there. I'm not saying don't cheat, but on those days when you've had those really hard workouts, try to fill yourself up with some good food. Try to stay away from a lot of that processed stuff that has high levels of omega-6 in there, and get some good meals in there. Let's see what else is there here. I had some things in my head. Oh, on your rest days. One of the big things we do, again, after a really hard workout is we'll lie down. We'll sit down for the rest of the day, the next, 24 hours if we have a rest day or anything like that. We'll sit there, watch TV, try not to move as much as possible, especially those of us who are trying to get big. You have to move during your rest days. You have to move because what's going on in your muscles is there's a lot of scar tissue building up. There's a lot of lactic acid building up. And so one of the things that can happen to you if you're not moving in your rest days is that can start to really inhibit your mobility. It can start to inhibit your movement. And in addition to that, it can really slow down the recovery process because your muscles kind of sitting there stagnant, building up knots, things like that. And so you're going to feel tons of a lot more soreness if you didn't move during that day, if you didn't put the work in to kind of roll out your muscles, to hammer out some of those knots and things like that might exist in there. Then you're going to feel it a lot more. You're going to recover a lot slower. So do an active rest. Get out there. Do some mobility work. Use a foam roller. Go for a walk. I'm not saying go out and train or anything like that, but make sure you're moving. Keep those blood sugar levels lower. That'll lower your inflammatory levels as well. And then as far as everything goes, just be smart about things. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure you're getting adequate sleep. Make sure that you're eating adequate calories, and recovery shouldn't be a problem. Right? So if you guys have any questions about this or anything that I've got going on, hit me up at info@warriorsoulapparel.com. We've also got the Warrior Soul Goji up and running. We're giving out free workouts every day, nutrition advice. So if you're interested in that, it's free. Sign up at the link in the description box below. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. Peace.